Knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress and giving birth to evolution. A very good morning to Mr. Thomas Tegathala, our principal, Father Sunil Fernandez, SJ, Administrator, Father Vishal D'Souza, our Vice Principal, Mr. Brian McIntosh. Dear parents and students, welcome you all to this webinar. I, Stephen Kienebu, will be your host for the day. Prayer is something that we learn, and it is also a gift from God. It's a combination of our efforts with God's work within us. I request Miss Diana Jennifer to lead us in prayer, followed by a prayer song.
Let's place ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Dear God, we thank you for this day and the opportunity to conduct the soft launch webinar. We are ever grateful to you for your tender mercies and grace, which has enabled us to set up the Loyola Technology Center. We thank you for all the sponsors who have contributed towards making this project a success. We ask you for your blessings and divine providence that the activities for this undertaking be successful and effective. May we also retain the invaluable knowledge and the learning experience that we derive from this webinar. We pray that you will continue to guide us throughout in all that we do. We make this prayer in your holy name. Amen.
I wanna magnify your light. I wanna reflect the sun. Cut like precious diamonds, colors by the millions. But this is the only world we know, and for now this rental's our home. We're gonna be a reflection, gonna make this dirt rock glow, 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 glow. Just so you know.
Light shine bright everywhere you go. Music for the people to illuminate the soul. Light shine bright everywhere you go. Music for the people, making music for the people. Light shine bright everywhere you go. Music for the people to illuminate the soul. Light shine bright everywhere you go. Music for the people, making music everywhere we go.
Lights in the city might be more than pretty. That freaky shine might be more than meets the eye. Anytime you see the sparkle in the dark, it might look deeper. It might be more than superficial. Yo, the smile might be joy that's connected to the spirit. The spirit might be contagious. If you dare, you take come near it. I remember, can't forget beats that you can second guess. Sparkle as the light reflects written page forward.
Light shine bright everywhere you go. Music for the people to illuminate the soul. Light shine bright everywhere you go. Music for the people, making music for the people. Light shine bright everywhere we go. Music for the people to illuminate the soul. Light shine bright everywhere you go. Music for the people, making music everywhere we go.
Thank you, ma'am. Amongst us, we have our eminent person, a great speaker, a visionary, and a dreamer. I request Asha Sundararajan to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Thomas Tekatali.
Sorry, I was not on, I was unmuted. So, okay, there we go. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Give me a thumbs up
Yes,
if you
ma'am.
can. Yeah, all right, great. So, hi everyone, I'm Asha Sundararajan, the founding director of the Loyola Technology Center, and it's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Thomas Takatala to share the vision with us. So, the LTC was designed or is designed to elevate students through and their outcomes both in careers as well through co-curricular achievement programs both in academics and beyond. To this end, Mr. Tekatela began the journey of establishing the LTC early in 2021. He had earlier founded the Learn for Life Foundation, which has engaged students both in underprivileged schools and rural areas in India to encourage them for their learning. He was joined by his friends from the Joy Thomas Foundation, Mr. Tekatela and Joy Thomas, who were both in the class of 1977. The reason why we designed the LTC STEM Lab from get-go is to bring the best of breed programs. What does that mean? Over the next few months, and as already some of our students in our STEM labs have experienced, you will see it is small steps to bringing to light things that they are going to learn through making real life connections, as well as being able to share the joy of their learning. So let me welcome you to our 3 programs that we have started. The first one is IXL Math, which is an independent learning program where 150 students are registered, and we are waiting for the registration from the international program. Stephen, our lab master, is equipped, able and ready and excited to welcome students to the lab, both after school and on the weekends, to solve challenging problems that students would have not otherwise seen. We do have STEM clubs in school, as you can see some students experimenting. And we have also kicked off our periodic guest series workshops, which are designed to bring in experts in fields for students to engage with and ask questions. Without much further ado, let me please introduce Mr. Thomas Takatala, who can then continue and expound on the vision for the LTC.
Thank you, ma'am. We are proud and joyful to have you with us, sir. I request Mr. Thomas Tekatala to address the gathering. Tom.
Thank you, Asha. Thank you, Stephen. I spent my
Thomas, your voice is echoing. Was mine echoing as well?
Thomas, I'm not able to hear you.
Thomas, we are not able to hear you yet.
It's been a long day of calls. I think it must have, what's the right word?
Same
Discharged.
thing
Can you hear
happened
me
to
now?
mine, yeah.
Can you hear me now? Very good. Good. Thank you, Asha, for the introduction. Thank you, Stephen. Parents of the students of St. Joseph's, the staff, Father Principal, Father Vishal, the administrator, and everyone else, welcome. Let me start the discussion with three of my favorite words that I have been studying about lately. And those three words are ite inflammate omnia. These are the words that were written by St. Ignatius of Loyola, who's the founder of the Jesuits. He wrote these three words at the end of his letters to the young Jesuits who were going out to different corners of the world to educate the people in those areas. The literal translation of those three words is set the world afire. And I think it is a metaphor to inspire the young people to go forth and enlighten the world. So I started working on developing a STEM education center at St. Joseph's, along with the Father Rector, Father Principal, Father Vishal, and many of the alumni, and decided to name the center Loyola Technology Center in honor of St. Ignatius of Loyola. We've had tremendous support from St. Joseph's Boys High School administration, the Old Boys Association, which is our alumni, St. Joseph's Alumni Association North America, and above all, and very importantly, the Joy Thomas Foundation. As Asha mentioned, Joy was my classmate throughout my days in St. Joseph's, was an extraordinary student of extraordinary academic abilities. But above all, he was a phenomenal humanitarian. He touched the lives of thousands of people, helped many of us, many of his colleagues, his classmates, their families, their children. And when he left us 2 years ago, early, all of us and many of his colleagues around the world got together to create the Joy Thomas Foundation. And this lab has also been inspired by his extraordinary work, right? So now that we've gotten back to the discussion of Loyola in the Loyola Technology Center, let me go to briefly about Asha Sundararajan, who you just heard speaking here a few minutes ago. Asha has been the founder of the Children's Technology Workshop, which has been the first STEM institute in India, where over 8 years, she took over 200 students of the many thousand that she taught in 43 different teams to major global STEM competitions. 13 of her teams were winners, and 2 of them won the prestigious Intel awards. Now, why is this important? The reason this is important is because Asha brings so much experience in STEM education that all of your kids will have an extraordinary experience at the STEM Center because of her experience doing this for 10 years. So this is a very unique opportunity at St. Joseph's Boys High School for programs that she is putting forth. And along with Stephen, who is the lab master, who is learning fast from Asha and will be there to guide the students. Yeah. So why this focus on STEM? As you can see on this chart, in the late 19th century, there were 3 technology platforms: the telephone, automobile, and electricity, which all evolved around the same time. And they really changed the way the world worked. it was quite dramatic. Productivity improved, costs dropped, and there were a lot of exciting new jobs created in the telephone industry, in the automobile industry, and the electronics industry, right? So what has happened now in the 1980s and the early 2000s, of course, we had the computers and the internet, and that, as you know, created a very large number of jobs around the world. And India has been a beneficiary with all the great Indian IT technology companies. But just take a look at the curve and the impact of computers and internet. And now look at what's happening in 2020. We have some even greater and extraordinary technologies, which include energy storage, artificial intelligence, robotics, genome sequencing, and blockchain technology. If you look at the impact it's creating, it's even much, much bigger than computers and the internet. So it's literally a tsunami of impact that is coming along when you add in 5G, autonomous vehicles, electric vehicles, cloud, fintech, solar, and space exploration. The very way in which we live is changing. For example, most of you have seen paper cash is fast disappearing. Electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles will eventually replace the need to own a private car, because you can just call a car on demand from your phone. And of course, if Elon Musk is to be believed, they plan to essentially launch robots to start building new cities on Mars. So the pace of technology is growing so fast. Compared to even the internet and computers, it's going to grow 5 to 10 times faster. And we all felt it was very important for your children to gain a great exposure to all this. So, as I said, STEM education is going to offer extraordinary career opportunities because of this disruptive innovation. And we wanted to make sure that all your children have access to learn about these technologies. Otherwise, they would miss these great opportunities. And thanks to Asha and the team that she's building around her, we're going to have some amazing programs that'll inspire the kids who come. So there is a very good vision. And what is key about this vision is that what we're doing is we're really trying to transform the math and science being taught in class to actual hands-on workshops and projects in the class. So the kids are really going to be able to understand math and science, not just from a theoretical point of view, but from hands-on workshops in this center. In addition, as Asha mentioned, there would be the IXL math program, which would be burst. And what's important about that, it'll be able, children can run it on their mobile phones, and it will constantly give them personalized feedback to help them improve their understanding. As Asha mentioned, we'll be having some guest speakers, and we plan to have some mentoring programs for the students, visits to other companies, shadowing and student internships, inter-school and some STEM competitions that Asha is a veteran of doing. And why is that important? That is very important because A, you get exposed to students from other parts of the country and in fact other parts of the world. And B, these are the things that become very important when you're applying to colleges, so that colleges recognize that you're not just a bookworm, but you've actually been able to put it into practice. And we want to make the LTC available to students from other schools as well, so our kids will collaborate with them. So I think those are the main points we wanted to talk about. And now we'll open it up to all of you for questions. Stephen, back to you.
Thank you, sir, for the valuable insights. We have a few questions that are being posed by teachers and parents and children. Yeah. So by Nikhil asks, I have taken commerce as my subject, but I have really kept keen on learning about space and science exploration. Read the question. So Nihal has taken up commerce, but he's keen about space sciences and exploration. Will the lab help him? Thomas, you'll have to unmute.
Yeah, I didn't mute myself anyway. One of the things that we've discussed and will continue to talk about is what science, technology, engineering, and math teach you. It teaches you to think. It teaches you to think very deeply. It teaches you to think globally. It teaches you to think about your community and how you can make an impact on it. So the fact that you are in the commerce line shouldn't prevent you from learning about the impact of science and technology, space, solar, and other technologies on the commercial way in which companies will operate. So in order for a company to embark upon any of these technology journeys, they have to have a budget, they have to plan financially, and you could be involved in helping companies plan for technology growth. So that's how you could contribute. And the more you know about this, the more you can contribute to companies working in this space from a finance and commerce standpoint. Okay, next question. Stephen, as a update here quickly, I think it'd be helpful to send these questions to Asha and me, so we'll already have them and know what to expect.
I'll do that, Thomas. Yes. That. So I'll just read out one more question and then we'll continue. Who are the top employees in India or abroad? And competition for fresh graduates. How will the future career growth look like in this area?
Stephen, it looks like there's someone else also speaking. Am I mishearing this or?
1 minute. Sorry, Thomas.
Yeah.
I'll read out the question again. Who are the top employees in India or abroad? Compensation for fresh graduates. How will the future career growth look like for them in this area?
Did you say who are the top employees or employers?
Employers.
Okay. And what are they paying?
Oh, and what is the competition for fresh graduates in the same area? So what is the scope of bringing about?
Yeah, well, I could only tell you from a distance, but there is no doubt that all the major companies in India, whether it be Reliance, Tata's, Birla's, the telecom industry, the fintech industry, all of those industries are hiring people with a STEM background for sure. And in fact, if you just think back to that curve, which is just going straight up, the demand is so very, very high that it is not uncommon for an Infosys or a Tata company to come to a campus and hire the entire graduating class, because there's just not enough people with a STEM background. So if you're in an engineering college of some reputation, the whole graduating class is offered a job right away. That is because the demand is so high that the companies in India cannot meet this. And that is why we think that this is a great place for young kids to start their journey, and then they can consider, specializing and so on and so forth after some time. But that is the nature of the demand. Unlike, other areas where the demand is not as high, and therefore there's far more competition for the jobs. So when a company comes to a university or a college and hires the entire class, graduating class, there really is no competition. Everyone's hired because the demand is so high. That is why we think that it is a very exciting time for young students to start thinking about these areas. And St. Joseph's is offering a very unique opportunity with the Loyola Technology Center. And above all, Asha has had 8 to 10 years of experience doing this and mentoring students who've gone on to do incredible things and get admissions to major US universities and so on and so forth. So it's a very, very great opportunity for kids. Okay, Stephen, next question.
I think, Thomas, I'll send you the questions by mail.
Yep.
And we will
Well, send it to
forward.
Asha and me
I will,
both.
I will. Yes,
Yeah,
I will. So we will move forward with the program. To enact gratitude is generous and noble, but to live gratitude, touch heaven. Ms. Diksha Peter will propose the vote of thanks.
Knowledge and wisdom are both the signs of hunger and thirst of creativity. Good morning to all. It is indeed a privilege to extend the vote of thanks at this virtual gathering that has bound us together by the unquenchable thirst of knowledge and the desire to learn concerning science and technology. At the very onset, I would like to thank God Almighty for making it possible for us to conduct this webinar seamlessly. Today, as we log off from this digital platform, we are all a little more aware of the vision, mission, objective, programs in the workshop of LTC. And this credit is empowered to us by the knowledge given to us by our keynote speaker for the day, Mr. Thomas Teketala, founder, LTC and Learn for Life Foundation. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your commendable talk and quenching our thirst of knowledge. Welfare of our students and collaborator has always been the mantra which has been enforced by our school. This ability of making choice is eased by our knowledge of these options available to us. I would like to extend a deep sense of appreciation and thank our dear Father Principal, Reverend Sunil Fernandez, for his foresight in setting up LTC and this webinar to enable and enrich the parents and students about the advanced science and technology. We truly are blessed with your perspective and guiding us through a smoothing future. I would like to express our sincere thanks to our primary school administrator, Reverend Father Vishal D'Souza, and our vice principal, Mr. Brian McTeish, for their constant support. Our heartfelt gratitude to Ms. Asha Sundarajan, founding director, LTC, for her help and constant support and facilitating the LTC program. A big shout of thank you to all the teachers and the tech team, Mr. Roshan, Mr. Franklin, Mr. Muniraj, and Mr. Rajesh, for ensuring the smooth operation of this webinar. A big shout of thank you to all our dear students and parents for your presence and participation. I take your leave with a quote by Debashish Vidya. If your thirst for knowledge is strong enough, you will find the water to satisfy it. Once again, thank you and have a pleasant day.
Ma'am, I thank you all for being a part of the webinar. Have a wonderful day. Thomas, Asha, ma'am, Father Vishal, do we have any feedbacks or anything that we need to improve? Thomas, you're mute.
Everyone can log off. I suppose Stephen, I think we can have Asha and Father Vishal and you and I just talk briefly, or whoever else is available. I think one thing I just wanted to ask about is the song that is played after you introduce that. Is that something that is being sung by the school singers, or it's just some recorded music?
It's done by the school choir, Mr. Mario, the music team, everybody. So it's a recorded one, which we are just playing it out.
And is that something that's done for all of these events, or I'm just trying to wonder why, because I worry about the fact that, some parents who are very busy on a Saturday morning would think that this program is just going to go on for a long time. Because it does go on for like 3 or 4 minutes, doesn't it? It's just a question. I don't know. I just want to be very, very cautious of people's time on a Saturday morning.
Shall I interrupt you, Thomas?
Sure.
Yeah. In that case, I think we can have only the prayer that is done by, I think, Jennifer. We can leave out the prayer song, so then we can give more time for question answers.
I think so. I think the more important thing, Father Vishal, is to have a prayer, because this is what binds all of us together here. And then, of course, I'll be talking about St. Ignatius, and then going into the talk and, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And really getting to the questions, because, Stephen, I think it'll be helpful to get those questions, because what we want to answer is, you have to think about what, we have an expression here that we use, Stephen, Father Vishal, it's called within. Stephen, so write this down, WIFIM. Okay? And WIFIM is a very American kind of idea, which when a group of us are trying to decide how to do this best, we have to ask, what's in it? WIFIM. What's in it for me? This is what parents are asking. What is in it for them? So think about it. We've sent all these emails out, right? We've sent these SMS messages out. And so far we've had, 2 questions, correct? Stephen, you have to unmute.
We have 3 questions.
3 questions. So what that tells you is that parents don't understand, how do they benefit? How do their kids benefit from this? Is this just some, old people just lecturing them about something that's not relevant to their lives? So we have got to make, in other words, another way to put this out is to imagine you sent out a message to all the parents that said, we're having a webinar and on science and technology, and we're going to pay each attendee 1 lakh rupees as long as you enter a question. Do you think people will be submitting questions? Maybe. I think they would, because there's something to benefit for them. The difference is, we're talking about benefits in the tens of lakhs of rupees for their children, in terms of the job opportunities that they're going to have. But that's not clear in whatever we've presented to them. And that's why you have this very tepid response. Now, I'm not suggesting we're going to fix this overnight, but I'm just trying to say that, it's a Herculean effort. Just to make sure, Stephen, you understand, and others who understand, it has been Herculean effort by Asha, folks at JTF, folks at Learn for Life, to put the STEM thing forward, because it is very difficult to find people who have the time or even interest to come and spend and do all this with the kids, because they could be working at jobs paying them a lot. So we have to somehow communicate to the parents that This is the kind of opportunity that no other school in Bangalore is offering today. In other words, I like to say that there are schools in Bangalore that charge a tuition that's 10 times higher than St. Joseph's, and they have fancy buildings and they have fancy labs. But what they're missing is soft, intelligent programs. They have hardware and big granite buildings, but what's missing is the content.
Thomas,
yes, Father Vishal.
Thank you for your intervention and suggestion. Yesterday also, we had sent the questionnaires, to the students, as well as this morning in the assembly, it was once again, it was announced. We have done our best in that terms.
I know that, Father Vishal. It's not a criticism. I'm just saying that, I know that this is a long journey, and we are starting.
We may be getting today or tomorrow, still, since the webinar is tomorrow, we may be getting some more questions from parents. We will wait and see. Even tomorrow also, since it is going the YouTube live, since the chat is open, we may get a couple of questions then and there. So you can very well respond to it, you and along with Asha. So since it is the first step, we will try to do our best.
No, definitely, Father Vishal. Well, one thing, Stephen, we should be doing is recording the YouTube, whatever, the live webinar that we do. Okay? Because you can think of this as frequently asked questions. And the real most important question is, why should I send my child to the LTC after school? Why bother? That's really the $50,000 question. And we need to address it. Why would you bother sending your child to school, having them stay back after school, or come on the weekend? Why would you do this? And I would say to them that, Asha, her husband, Joy Thomas, myself, many of our colleagues and classmates, the difference for us was that we all stayed back in school and were in the physics lab, were in the chemistry lab. We were trying to understand science very fundamentally. And the result of it is we ended up on career tracks where you ended up becoming the CEO or the chief technology officer of the largest American and European companies from St. Joseph's Boys High School. That's what we're talking about. And so, I want to try and bring that forth to the parents. And so even if I say it and it's recorded, then, Father Vishal, we can put it out through whatever channels. This is why the LTC is important. Now, of course, we also have to be careful because, we can only go at a certain speed. Right now, we only have Stephen and Asha, of course, has, been phenomenal in terms of volunteering her time. But I think we need to get to this place where there's far more demand than what we can supply, And of course, Father Vishal, we've talked about this, that, I think it could be
Thomas, we should talk about this. I think some of the teachers, they have to leave because they got a class now.
Oh, yeah, please. I said that they can all leave.
So just a couple of points before we could wind it up. One is, Stephen, there should be more light where you're sitting and stable connection so that there's no background noise around the place.
Yes,
also, I think Diana, Jennifer, one who did the prayer, kindly sit in a better place so that either you change your background, that would be nice.
Okay, Father.
Diana, are you able to hear?
Yes, Father, I can hear you.
Yes. Yeah. So kindly sit in a better place, or you can change the background or make it blur, or you can choose virtual background, anything that is suitable for your place. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So others, thank you very much. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Diksha.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Father Vishal. Thank you, everybody. We'll be in touch. Thank you, Stephen.
Yes, yeah.
I have to. Yeah. Go ahead. Yes, Father Vishal.
Yeah. Since you are introducing Asha is introducing you right at the beginning, it would be nice you can be there for some time, show your face to the audience, then you can switch over to the PPT presentation.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was just noticing that this laptop's camera is not very great. I've got to get another laptop and use it tomorrow so that it's much clearer, and hopefully this was just a dry run just to make sure everything was working, but we'll get the light and everything else to be much brighter here. So it's very much clearer for everybody. Yeah.
And secondly, Thomas, you can put your background as Learn for Life or do something that is very appealing to the audience.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, those are only 2 suggestions. Rest, everything was good.
Yeah. Very good, Father Vishal. Thank you so much. Thanks, Stephen. Now, anyway, Stephen, of course, thankfully, the math teacher, I understand Father Vishal has, returned. And, so Stephen can focus a little bit more of his time. I think he should still help a little bit with the math department, but he'd be more, Stephen, available to help in the LTC and really start planning and working on how do we really help these kids, like IXL, it's going to come. When it comes, it'll be like a tsunami because you'll have 150 kids and they'll have questions and they'll have issues. So you may want to get on the IXL website and, play around with it a bit so you understand what all is in there. And also, Asha will give you some guidance about the projects, that you want to demonstrate in the class, different projects. And I also think that in the short term, I was telling this to Asha, Father Vishal, we have 2 minutes here, is a lot of the equipment that we have there, as you know, Stephen, is very expensive. Okay. So what you want to be doing is once Asha will tell you about an experiment or a project, and she will give you some tips on how to do it. You would do it yourself, make sure it works, and then be more or less demonstrating this with the students. Because part of the problem is if some kid drops this or does something inaccurate and it breaks, that's it. You've got 50,000 down the drain. That's what we want to avoid this, because we want to make sure it's available for other students who come, other students, even from other schools. You will be more in demonstration mode, so if you're showing an oscilloscope and all that, you'll be showing them why this is and how it works and what this does and so on. And that'll get people, interested for sure. I think that the group exercises where people put their hands on things, in our classes, they tended to be, simpler things that, are not going to break, like, Lego blocks, tuning forks, cardboard cutouts, and those sorts of things. So we'll see. Very good. I think that it's very exciting that, we're taking this forward, Stephen, and thank you for all your help. Father Vishal, you too. I look forward to chatting with you all tomorrow. Yeah.
So good wishes and all the best for tomorrow's program.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be there, yes.
See, your screen is very, very clear. You must have a new laptop with a fine camera. My laptop, my camera has broken down from millions of hours on video conferences over the years. Good. I'll get that changed tomorrow.
Sure, Thomas, yes. So thank you, Asha. Thank you,
Thanks.
Roshi. Stephen, kindly look into those points, whichever we just discussed, and sit in a better place where there's more light and it's very clear.
Yes, brother.
Yeah. So thank you.